Hi, third grade Falcons. Mrs. Nesbitt here to go over your reading lessons for week 8, benchmark unit 9, spending time and money. This week's lesson vocabulary that you will need to know in order to better understand the text are the following words. Remember that you can find them on the page number and the paragraph number in pink, and I would go ahead and get out your books and highlight those words and write the definitions in the margin. First word you need to know is transport. On page 22, paragraph 1, means to carry or move from one place to another. So this week we're going to be talking about how fruit becomes jam. So when we're talking about transport, how do they transport or move the fruit to the processing plants in order to process the fruit and make jam? And then after they make the jam and they package it, how does it get to the stores for people to buy? So that's what we mean by transport. Orchards is an area of land devoted to fruit or nut trees. Around Fresno, you can see in our community lots of orchards. Usually we have almond trees, and there's lots of orange trees near Fancher Creek if you go out in the country. Those are orchards. Food processing plants are factories where food is made ready and packaged to send to stores. So once they remove the pickers remove the fruit or the nuts from the trees, then they send it to the processing plants, and that's where they take the food and they make it into products that we sell in our stores. Manufacture is the making of goods by manual labor or by machinery, usually on large scale. So if we're going to make jam, we're not going to just make one jar, they're going to make thousands of jars. So they take it to a big factory where they make it into the jam. Method is a way something is done. So the farmers or the people, the manufacturers, have different ways of doing things. So the method that they choose to do what they do, why do they choose one method over another? Ingredient is an element in a mixture. So if you're making a cake, you have flour and oil and eggs. Those are all the ingredients that go into making the cake. If you just have the eggs by themselves, that doesn't make a cake. But once you mix it all together, you put those ingredients together, it makes something else. Attract is to draw by appealing to others by stimulating interest. So what attracts us to buy a certain product? Is it the labeling? When you go to buy cereal, are you buying the cereal because of the taste of the cereal, or are you attracted by the packaging? Is it the superhero on the front cover, or a cartoon character, or the toy that's inside, or maybe it's an athlete on the cover? What attracts you to buying that certain product? Organic means comprised only from things derived from plants or animals. So that means that no chemicals are involved in the making or the processing of the fruits. So this week's story, From Fruit to Jam, a tasty list of choices. From Monday's lesson, you will read these 2 pages, and you can see, because we have actual photographs, that this is an informational story, nonfiction, and this is all about growing the fruit and how that fruit goes from being on the tree to in a jar sitting on a shelf in the grocery store as jam. So there are lots of choices that have to be made in the processing of the fruit into the jam. This story is all about those choices. So on these 2 pages, the main idea is there are several choices farmers must make in growing oranges. So I want you to think about what farmers must do to make sure that their crops look good and taste good. For Tuesday's lesson, our main idea is jam makers must choose the right method to use when making their jam. There are 2 different methods that they describe on how you can make jam. There's an open pan and the vacuum pan method. Why do manufacturers choose one particular method over another? I want you to think about that. Why do they choose that method? Why is it important to the making of their jam? Wednesday's lesson, you will read these 2 pages. And the main idea is that companies must make choices about the materials they use and how to package and brand the jam. So on these 2 pages, I want you to be looking for the key details. And I want you to think about the choices that companies make, and how that affects the product and the people purchasing the product. Make sure that each day you are finding 3 key details that support those main ideas. Thursday's lesson. The main idea is that today's customers are faced with many choices about what to buy and how to buy it. Think about what consumers or customers, how they choose one product over another. When we go to the grocery store and we're going to buy jam, half of the grocery store aisle is full of jam jars. There might be 100 different jars on that shelf. How do we choose one product over another or one flavor over another? How do we make those choices? This is what Thursday's lesson is all about. So make sure you're looking for 3 key details each day. For your assignments this week, make sure to read the passage carefully and annotate the key details that support the main idea. Write the key details in your own words. Do not copy them directly from the text. Answer the question using race. Remember to restate the question, borrowing words from the question. Answer all parts of the question and cite text evidence by looking back in the text for the evidence that supports your answer. Refer to your anchor charts for examples. You have them in your paper packets and also in Google Classroom if you're working online. And also, if you need to, refer back to week 6 for additional support in how to find key details that support the main idea or how to answer a question using race strategies. That's all I have for this week's lessons. If you need any additional help, make sure you reach out to your teachers. And for now, have a good week. Bye-bye.